Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. Welcome to my top 10 favorite interactive video games slash Telltale video games. I thought this would be a cool top 10 list to do because I have nothing else to talk about. There's no movies to see. I can't review movies, and I've done so many top 10 movie lists, so I thought I'd talk about video games. And lately I've been doing a lot of playing a lot of interactive Telltale video games, and it's really got me to explore more of this genre and interesting games and stuff. And yeah, I thought it'd be a really cool idea to do this top 10 list and just sit here on my bed with my girlfriend next to me right here. There she is. Hello.
Hey.
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 Hey. Or get out of the spotlight. I'll probably talk to her every now and then, like with the video, so don't be weirded out. She's doing homework, clicking on her. So you might hear some weird noises. That's just her. Don't be alarmed. If you hear screaming, don't be alarmed. If you hear murder, don't be alarmed. That's perfectly normal, perfectly fine. It's all good. It's all good. Shh. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. It's the isolation. It's made me crazy. It's made us all a little crazy. But anyways, let's get to the top 10 list. And there's a rule for this top 10 list. I'm not including certain video games in this list. Like certain adventure games, survival games. I'm mostly talking about like interactive sort of movie related kind of video games. Video games that feel like movies, and video games are like more like decision based games, like God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Grand Theft Auto 5. They're kind of interactive video games, but they're not on this list. I'm not counting them. I'm counting mostly like Telltale sort of video games. I think you all know what I'm talking about when I read these lists and shit like that. So let's stop fucking around. Let's get to the top 10 list. And as always, for our top 10 list, I have a couple honorable mentions. Those honorable mentions are The Walking Dead, The New Frontier, Batman, The Evil Within, Life is Strange. Those are all decent games. Could make the top 10 list, but if it didn't make my top 10, was my number 10. And my number 10 is Batman, The Telltale Story. A lot of people like The Evil Within more than The Telltale Story, because it's about the Joker. You can make the Joker a good guy, and it's all about Arkham and Batman teaming up with the Joker and everything. That's all cool and all, but I prefer the first game, Batman, The Telltale Story, because it's a detective story. Batman is world's greatest detective, and I like detective stories, and I like Batman stories when he's just investigating stuff. It's cool when he's like fighting bad guys, breaking into Arkham Asylum, and teaming up with Superman and shit. That's all cool and all, but Batman is an investigator. He is like a police officer. He's his own vigilante police officer. That's why I like Batman so much. And this game explores Batman investigating these murders that are happening. And this game has a very good twist, which I will not dare spoil, and it involves a character you never think would go evil. It's a really interesting story. And it's got great villains. You got the Penguin in it. You got Two-Face sort of in it. You got the Joker in it a little bit, but it's a lot about Bruce's story and his connection with this character and how much relatability they have. But it happens when one character goes down an evil path and one character goes down a good path. You can have the same sort of lifestyle, but go down different paths. It depends on what kind of person you are and what kind of life you had and how you were treated. It's a very interesting, very complex story, and it's one of my favorite Batman stories, and I love Batman, and this is one of my favorite video games of Batman. I like Arkham Asylum and Arkham Knight and stuff. Those are cool games as well, but this story I just really love, and I really had a connection with it, so definitely one of my favorites. Coming in number 9 is Detroit Become Human. Detroit Become Human came out in 2018. Didn't play it until like pretty recently. Really cool sci-fi game, very cool, again, interactive game, decision-based game. It's 3 stories, and it's about robotics. It's about androids and stuff, and what it means to be human and everything, which is it's not a unique story. We've seen this done a bajillion times in movies and stuff, but in a video game it's really interesting because it's about this caretaker, and he's getting thrown away, and he's accused of a crime he never committed. Then there's like a second story about this other android who's a police officer, and he has to team up with this alcoholic who's very prejudiced against androids and stuff. But they have to work together to solve the crime. Then there's another third story with another android who is getting abused with this little girl, and then basically she takes this little girl out of this abusive home, but now she's accused of kidnapping this little girl and stuff. So it's a very interesting story about prejudice and android prejudice and stuff. Blade Runner 2049 talked about robotic prejudice very well. And this game is very interesting. It has a lot of cool twists and turns. And if you go the right path, the game's a lot more interesting. If you go the wrong path, the game can get a little too brutal and be like, whoa, okay, I didn't want this. So make your decisions properly when you play this game, and I certainly did, and I certainly enjoyed it, and it's definitely one of my favorites. All right, coming at number 8 is The Walking Dead Season 2. These games are really cool. These interactive games are way better than the actual show, because the show stopped being good, I think, after Season 4. I haven't really watched a lot of it, but Season 2 follows Clementine again, and her like going into this boarding school, and finding more survivors and try to survive the zombie apocalypse. After the aftermath of the first season, you see a lot of tragedy that's happened to Clementine psychologically. She has been through the ringer and shit. Really cool game. This is another one that can be very dark and brutal based off the decisions you make, and it's a fantastic game. It's not quite as fleshed out, and it's not quite as deep and profound as The Last of Us, but I really enjoy these Walking Dead games, and Season 2 is a really good season, and it's a very good gameplay, so definitely one of my favorites. Number 7 is The Walking Dead final season. Now, the final season is better than the New Frontier and Season 3 and stuff. The reason the final season is really good is because it focuses on Clementine and this boy she has, AJ, and I like a relationship between like a parent figure. I don't know what it is. That dynamic and a zombie apocalypse always makes for interesting stories, because that's what The Last of Us is about. And because Joel and Ellie is like this father-daughter sort of relationship, and how they have to grow to respect and love each other to survive this apocalypse. They do that a lot in this kind of season, in the final season of The Walking Dead gameplay, and really cool. The dynamics between AJ and Clementine are really cool and really funny and really enjoyable, and you really root for these characters, and if one of these characters die, you just want to scream and go, no! It's a great season. It's a really good season. Number 6 is Dragon's Lair. Dragon's Lair is based off an old arcade Capcom game in the 80s. This is a really cool game because it feels like you're playing a movie. This feels like a 25-minute film. You're actually controlling the knight, rescuing the princess, and doing all these things. And what makes it incredibly amazing is the animation was all done by Don Bluth. Don Bluth, if you don't know who Don Bluth is, he's directed movies like Land Before Time, The Secret of Nim, An American Tail, All Dogs Go to Heaven. Really great, timeless, classic films, and he did all the animation design for Dragon's Lair, and he directed and wrote the story. He's never done a video game before, and he always wanted this video game to work out, and if this video game actually made money, he would actually make a Dragon's Lair movie. That has not happened yet, and this game came out like 6 years ago, so fuck all you people for not playing this game. So, great game, very funny, very good animation. The second part to the game is much better because it has a lot of weird Monty Python references, but it's a very cool, very innovative game, and definitely check it out. Coming number 5 is Beyond Two Souls. Beyond Two Souls was a PS3 game, came out in 2013, never played it, didn't play it till last year. Great fucking game. This has Ellen Page and Willem Dafoe, two very famous actors. And it's basically about this girl who has this special ability, this special gift. And she can use these powers to like control things, control people's minds. She can like go into like see through walls and shit. Like, and they don't know why she has this power, but then she finds out that she has this essence inside of her, which she calls Aiden. And a lot of the government thinks she was abducted by aliens, and there's an alien specimen inside of her that's controlling her and giving her these gifts and stuff. So the government tries to use this character for like, you know, to like help save the world, help stop terrorist attacks because she has these special abilities. But then all of a sudden, Aiden starts controlling her more and more, and she gets more and more powerful, and she doesn't want to get controlled because Aiden doesn't want to get controlled. It all leads to a very good twist, which I will not spoil, but it's a really good twist, and it can lead to a very emotional climax if you end the story a certain way. I ended the story in a very dark way, so it was very sad, but definitely play it and get the happy ending because it's a lot more uplifting, because when you go to the darker ending, it's It's super depressing, and I really wish I made better decisions when I played the game. I haven't played it a second time, but I definitely want to because it's a damn good, gripping game with great voice acting. So, Beyond Two Souls. Number 4 is Walking Dead Season 1. Nothing will ever come up. Nothing will ever beat Walking Dead Season 1 when it comes to all the seasons of The Walking Dead for the gameplay, the Telltale series. Even like Game of Thrones, I really enjoyed that Telltale series, but Walking Dead was still better Season 1 because it's about Lee. Lee and Clementine make The Walking Dead Season 1 so well. Lee is a really great character, and him trying to escort Clementine and help her find her family is a riveting story, and how it all ends and the tragedy of the ending is just so bleak and raw and emotional that it's brilliant. It's almost as good as The Last of Us, not quite that good, because Last of Us, I don't know. Something with The Last of Us, what they did with that story was just absolutely brilliant, but Walking Dead Season 1 came very close to being on the level of Last of Us, which is the highest compliment I can give a video game, because I think The Last of Us is one of the top 5 greatest video games I've ever played. That's how great The Last of Us is. So, yes, Walking Dead Season 1 was really good. Top 3 now. Number 3, Wolf Among Us. Wolf Among Us is about the Fable Tales, and this is a really cool game. I loved this game. The Wolf Among Us is going to get a sequel in the next year. I don't know, because of the outbreak, I don't know when this fucking sequel will come out, but hopefully it'll come out really soon. Because The Wolf Among Us was awesome. I hate that I just played it this year. I wish I played it years ago, because I'm like, now I just discovered this game, because I want to play it so many times, but it's a really cool game. It's basically all about the Fable characters. You're playing as Big Wolf, who's the Big Bad Wolf, and he's investigating these murders that are happening in Fabletown, and he and his partner, Snow White, basically are investigating who are killing all these fables, because fables aren't supposed to die. Fables can't die, but they're actually dying, so they want to know what kind of dark, twisted person is doing all this, and they investigate like Ichabod Crane and the Beast and the Woodsman and stuff, and it leads into some really messed up shit, and it's a very dark and very gritty story. And I never read the graphic novels, but I kind of want to explore them now because this game was so great. But yeah, I really loved Big B Wolf. He was a cool character, and you can make him such a badass and such a cocky dick, but I just love him, and it's just a great game. So definitely one of my favorites. Number two is a game I just started playing, Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain is a great murder investigation game. I love detective stories and murder investigations, missing person stories. I think those are very interesting stories. And I love a good mystery. I love a good murder mystery, and this one has a very good murder mystery. And I like that it has this like dark, gritty feel. It feels like the movie Seven. It's very dark, very messy and dirty and gross and stuff, just like a murder investigation or a missing persons investigation. There's a lot of murders in this game, so yeah. It's basically about this guy and his son goes missing, and they think who's behind all this is the serial killer who calls himself the Origami Killer, and he only has this minimal time to find this serial killer and find his son. And you're playing through 4 different people. One's a journalist, one's the father, one's this detective, one's this private investigator, and they're all looking for the same cause, to save this little boy from this serial killer. And the more and more you dive deeper into these characters, the more interesting they become, the more messed up the game becomes, and the more and more you want to know how this story is going to unravel itself and how it's going to unfold. Again, it's all about decisions and how the decisions you make. You can go for a happy ending, you can go for a sad ending, you can go for a really fucked up ending. Like, it's a really interesting game, and it's a game you want to play more and more and discover more and more and more stories and more endings to it and stuff. And that's the best compliment a game could have, is it's a playable game. It's a game you want to play multiple times. Nothing worse than when you play a game and you don't want to play it again. Like, you beat it once, you don't want to play it again. But this one, I want to play multiple times because I want to see all the endings. And I think Heavy Rain is a fucking brilliant game and easily one of my favorites. But it's not my number one. My number one interactive / Telltale game is easily, I've talked about this before, and it's Until Dawn. Until Dawn is one of the best horror games I played, right up there with The Last of Us, and it's one of the best interactive games. It's a fucking cool game. It's a straight horror game. It's basically about these college students going up to this cabin, and crazy shit happens. They have to fight Wendigo, serial killers, groundskeepers, and they basically have to fight for their lives for one night. They have to survive until dawn, and it is up to you as the player to pick who lives or dies in this game. You can choose wrong and they all die, or you could choose right, they all live, or certain characters lives. You can have a sole survivor, all female survivor, all male survivor. It is all on how you play this game. And if you love horror films, then you will love this fucking game. This is a great fucking game. I've talked about this already. I've done a ranking of all the characters, so you all know how much I love this game, and of course it's my favorite. And I might actually do a gameplay of this with my girlfriend here, who's looking at me right now. She has played this game before, actually, and it scared the ever-loving shit out of her, and that's just fucking funny to me. So maybe in the future, hopefully soon, I'll do a gameplay of her playing Until Dawn and watching her get scared and stuff, because I know all the endings to the game, but she doesn't, and that will be a fun video, I think. I think that would be hilarious and stuff. So yeah, she's looking forward to it. She's like,
I'm not.
Yeah, she's so happy. She's like, she's jumping on the bed, excited for it. And
No, I'm not.
no,
He's
oh,
lying to you.
no, oh, don't listen to her.
Just like because he's lying to you.
Shh. Anyways, that was my top 10 interactive / Telltale video games. In my opinion, those are my favorites, but what are your guys' favorites? Let me know in the comment section below. What are your favorite Telltale video games? Let me know in the comments. Comment below and let me know. And look forward to my next video. I'll be doing another part to Human Fall Flat, and we'll probably be doing like a Mario Party, Crash Team Racing. There's a few gameplays me and Lindsay are going to be doing, so look forward to all of those videos. So yeah, please like and subscribe to this channel and join the dark side.